So before we move on to the deliberations of the session, may I introduce Lieutenant General V M PATIL. Well, he doesn't need an introduction, but still I should say, Lieutenant General Venkatesh Mahadev Patil was commissioned in the Indian Army in 1959. A veteran of 1962 India-China War and 1965 India-Pakistan War. He graduated from Army Staff College, Camberley University of the United Kingdom, and post-graduated from National Defence College, New Delhi. He was the first defence advisor in the Indian embassies in Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia from 1980 to 84. He was commander of the United Nations Military Observers Group in Iraq as part of the UN Peacekeeping Force for Iraq and Iran during 1988 to 1990. Subsequently, his division successfully conducted anti-terrorist operations in Punjab during 1990-91 and enabled peaceful state elections in 1992. He was awarded Ati Vishishta Seva Medal as Additional Director General of Military Operations. He effectively controlled communal riots during post-Babri Masjid fallout in 1992. During October 1993, as Chief of Staff, Southern Command, and organized swift and effective rescue and relief operations in 84 villages of Latur and Osmanabad districts, which were devastated by a massive earthquake on October 1, 1993. He was awarded Param Vishishta Seva Medal by the President in January 1996. After retiring from Army in 1996, Lieutenant General Patil served as Vice President in Mukund Steels for 12 years. Currently he is handling following assignments. He is the Chairman of Balaji Institute of Modern Management, President of Akhil Bhartiya Purva Sainik Seva Parishad, Vice President Forum for Integrated National Security, and professional networker of an MNC, QuestionNet. He resides in Kodian Park, Pune. So we request Dr. Patil to please start the session.
Thank you, Midhuni. I am not a doctor.
Sorry.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll get on to the job straight away. Okay? Yeah. It is extremely difficult to follow any session after General Shekarkar speaks to you. Okay? Because I've experienced it for the last 4 decades, so you can imagine one of the reasons of me growing bald. However, particularly, older generation would understand it better, but younger generation, whom he took you on a pedestal in his concluding remarks, I request you all to come down to Mother Earth for the final session. Because yesterday you heard what all is wrong in our coastal security management and maritime security awareness. The people who spoke from their experience and expertise and from their heart. And today, General Shekarkar also told you that we have the capability to overcome all that and then emerge as a major power. Both are true. Both are true provided what we cover in the next 45 minutes, you all attend to and grasp it. And that is, in any emerging organization, and even a time-tested old organization, there will always be room for improvement if you want to excel in your work. And in order to find what are the rooms for improvement, we must be honest to introspect without any bias as to what are our shortcomings, inadequacies, and within our resources. You don't outsource your security. Within our resources, how do we coordinate, cooperate, and make it a sort of a combative power in order that it looks after the national security interests. In the final session, we are going to focus on that. And like we have been doing since yesterday, I am requesting all 3 distinguished colleagues of mine to devote 15 minutes. Though when we wrote to them 3 months back, half an hour you will be given, but unfortunately you know how things are going. Doesn't matter. They will be absolutely compact in the presentation and covered. If we exceed time beyond 1, I caution all of you, because you have 1 hour for lunch break. You have to be back here by 2 in order to be present for the final session which the governor is gracing. So I request all of you, without exception, young, old and middle-aged, reduce 1 dish of your lunch, but come back here in time by 2 o'clock. Nobody is going to announce in the dining hall, neither Pravesh nor Dharmani or anyone. You all look at your watch, finish your lunch and come back here by 2 o'clock. With that, we get on. Ladies and gentlemen, we have number of areas wherein we have identified there are shortcomings. And our honest assessment and introspection demand that we look at them objectively, constructively and proactively. There I bring in what Katकर told you. Proactive looking at it imply have confidence in yourself, confidence in your own professional ability, and confidence in the system of which we are part of, and we'll be able to overcome it. And how do we coordinate and how do we achieve that? I'll cover it in the last bit. I'll now request the first speaker, Dr. Priyanath Ghosh, to enlighten you on the terrorist threats to Indian maritime security, a case study for Maharashtra. 14 minutes, Dr. It takes time to go and come back. Okay, I'm not going to sum up because this is going to be repeated in the first part of the next session. Therefore, I'll, on behalf of all of you, thank all the distinguished speakers, including Mr. Chawle, who opened our eyes on what his problems are and is the fact of life. Ladies and gentlemen, the last session, 4 points for just mulling over before you go for lunch. There is a change in mindset required amongst all of us if we have to overcome the shortcomings which we have heard in the last 2 days. They cannot be solved by people sitting in Delhi. And we have 9 states which are ruled by 4 different parties which on many occasions do not agree with Delhi. There is a need for an integrated approach, burying their political differences in the national interest. This is need of the hour. If we don't achieve it, all the planning that we professionals do in the ops room or in the drawing room will remain on paper. Therefore, when you elect your new governments, make sure they keep the national interest and the core interest at heart. Otherwise, do not elect them. We have number of committees which have been formed after 26/11. And the most important one is National Committee for Strengthening Maritime and Coastal Security, headed by the Cabinet Secretary. We have many committees headed by Cabinet Secretaries in this country. We hope and pray this committee attends to the ground level problems of coastal region and maritime security in conjunction with Indian Navy, Coast Guard and the states concerned. And last one, which I'm going to cover something. Last point is, unlike other challenges, this is a very complex challenge in the 21st century with a focus on economic development across the world. Therefore, we have to evolve all our policies on the basis of cooperative approach with all stakeholders, coordination with the limited resources, and single-minded aim. Provide security to your coastal region, including the fishermen residing there, and help Coast Guard and Navy to fulfill their task of protecting your coast and the EEZ. They will do their job, provided we, on the mainland and on the coastal region, coordinate our efforts and support them. Rest in the next session. Lunch break. Thank you.
Now the time for all of you to know what we discussed in the last 2 days. Many of you must have been there, some of you may not have been. So Lieutenant General V M PATIL, who is also our Vice President, will present the report of seminar proceedings to Lieutenant General PATIL.
His Excellency, Honorable Governor of Goa, dignitaries on the dais, dignitaries of the dais. Namaskar and a very warm good afternoon to you all. Forum for Integrated National Security, a 12-year-old organization, has in the past conducted 2 major seminars on coastal security and maritime security. First one was in Bombay and the second one was in Ratnagiri. Since yesterday, in the third seminar, 35 professionals from services, administration, academia and scholars have addressed the gathering here and enlightened them on various aspects affecting the coastal security and the maritime security with futuristic challenges facing India in the 21st century. Our historical maritime interests, which declined in 12th century, have become totally dependent on colonial regime from 18th century onwards till the Britishers quit India. And for 150 years, we as a nation almost ignored what is coastal security and what is maritime challenge for our nation, because someone else was taking care of them. Post-independence, as a nation, we have unfortunately developed some sort of a sea blindness, lack of maritime vision, and ignoring our core national interests in the Indian Ocean region, despite the fact that 95% of our trade passes through the shipping lanes across the ocean. Strategic importance of Andaman and Nicobar Islands, although very well highlighted in the Second World War, were ignored as late as 1980s. Similarly, development of Lakshadweep Island also has received very lip service attention. All the segments contributing to the maritime security, such as ports, harbors, coastal guards, marine police stations, customs, and locals at all, fishermen, have been ignored in considering the stakes involved. It was left to the Indian Navy and everybody slept that it will guard all our interests. Post 26/11, as it has happened always in our country, a shock, a kick and a shake-up. We all wake up to the reality. And indeed, 26/11 attack on Bombay woke up the nation to the realities, harsh realities of exposed coastline. Within 4 months, 4 joint operations centers in Mumbai, Kochi, Vizag and Andaman Nicobar were set up. Coastal security was strengthened in 2 phases in a phased manner, and major shortcomings like intelligence gathering and multiple agencies controlling and absence of a single point joint coordination, control and execution were attended to. However, the subsequent growth of security apparatus and a robust maritime infrastructure mechanism was hampered by environmental lobbies, Western interests, and which have also affected socio-economic, political and security development of Andaman Nicobar Islands as well as Lakshadweep Islands. Yesterday, during the inaugural session, Honorable Chief Minister shook this audience with one single and emphatic statement. What is affecting our security policy makers is mindset. Imbibed mindset from colonial rule and subsequent mindset that security of a person or a nation or an area is somebody else's concern. He made specific reference to mindset of policymakers, mindset of security agencies themselves, mindset of human rights activists and the environmentalists. Unless we change this mindset to the current and the emerging realities, we will not be able to evolve any proactive and dynamic security policy in terms of coastal and maritime challenges. Lack of security vision has resulted in dilution of institutions, systems and capabilities over the last 5 decades. And in that, maritime security and absence of connectivity between the 9 coastal states and the island territories with the center is again a desirable thing. But it is not happening, all of us know. Particularly in a pluralistic environment of ours, where out of 9 coastal states, 4 are governed by regional parties and 5 are governed by 2 national parties. What we have to ask ourselves, honestly, introspection, are these regional parties and the national parties looking at the core national interest in terms of maritime security and maritime challenges? Colored vision of secularism and communalism have also affected thinking in terms of Indian nationalism. A fact of life, you see that day in and day out in electronic channels, print media and across the country in different parts. All these have had their impact on evolution of maritime vision, development of coastal and island territories in terms of socio-economic and political spheres, maritime infrastructure development along the coastline and in the island territories, integrated approach to coastal and maritime security challenges and the coastal districts. And finally, these have resulted in absence of a comprehensive maritime, coastal and security policy and strategy as it has happened at the national level, in absence of a comprehensive national security strategy even after 65 years. National security across the whole country and coastal security and maritime security go hand in hand. They cannot be seen in isolation. National, after all this, after the 26/11 shock, a National Committee on Strengthening of Maritime and Coastal Security, that is MCS, headed by the Cabinet Secretary, was set up in 2011. It has committed itself to building a robust maritime infrastructure capable of handling multi-dimensional security challenges to coastal region and island territories. However, there too, the first couple of months, extreme activism and thereafter going back into slumber. And number of projects and number of plans that were made have been funded not more than 50% in the last 3 years. And those funded, the equipment has not arrived as desired. And the Coast Guards and Navy have been witnessing that day in and day out. In all this evolution of coastal security policy, we have, and now gradually we are taking corrective measures, we have ignored the fishermen, the sons of the soil, and unless they are involved as a major stakeholder, your coastal area development as well as security plans cannot take constructive shape. And in this too, you have human problem in that 9 states, 9 languages, 9 cultures, and they are all different people, though they are all Indians. Now the policy makers, both at Delhi and in the states, must take this into concern and evolve the policy which integrates the coastal fishermen in their respective state coastal security plans. Major coastal challenges facing the country and the maritime implications. Maritime piracy and gun running is a major factor within our EEZ and outside. Illegal human trafficking is continuing from both West Coast and East Coast. Terrorist threats to oil and gas drilling platforms, industrial hubs and vital installations from Kutch in Gujarat to Kerala, and similarly in Tamil Nadu from Rameshwaram and upwards right up to West Bengal. All these installations and industrial centers, ladies and gentlemen, are vulnerable to attacks, notwithstanding whatever deployment of air defense and naval forces we have done. Vulnerability still stands. Illegal demographic infiltration, which is also taking place from the land borders, is also coming along the east coast into the states of Tamil Nadu, Orissa and Andhra Pradesh. Smuggling of drugs and narcotics and narco-terrorism along with the arms is taking place day and night along most of the west coast districts. Misuse of fishing trawlers and boats for smuggling, infiltration and also smuggling of arms and ammunition. We have 2 lakh boats and trawlers on our directory across the country. And of that, even if 1% of them are involved in illegal trafficking, you can imagine every day you have to monitor 2,000 boats. Do we have infrastructure for monitoring it? Intelligence. Although technology has enabled us collection of vast quantum of information from all walks of life, conversion of this information into actionable intelligence with timely action is a major challenge for Coast Guard and Indian Navy along with the other state coastal security apparatus. We need, like Sriharikota in the south, another missile launch site. Reasons I don't have to explain, common sense. Development that is going on in the country. We need anti-satellite destruction system because our EEZ is vulnerable for photography come spying from various Western interests outside. We need to legislate a sea piracy bill which will deter and which will prevent the illegal activities taking place in our EEZ. And finally, for all these, we need political will to implement those laws and stand by and support our security apparatus along the coastline and across the EEZ. International situation and the global order are passing through a state of flux for the last decade and a half. And in spite of you talk of unipolar world or multipolar world, the international power play in different forms will continue to impact the global events. China, the fastest growing economy, has focused largely in the last 2 decades on enhancing its economic and military power, land, sea and in the space. And its ultimate goal from the Middle Kingdom, make no mistake about it, is global influence to start with and leading to global domination. We may interpret the way we want, but the Chinese have not changed this very aim. And for that purpose, it is spending between $180 to $250 billion on their defense and R&D yearly, almost 6 times than ours. Obviously, they are not investing so much on defensive plans. And as China is developing fast in economic and military fields to near as close as possible to the United States, simultaneously it is involved in preventing India from growing its influence outside South Asia into Indian Ocean, Southeast Asia and Middle East. The aim of China-Pak axis through the string of pearls and other means is to confine India to Indian subcontinent so that they have space for their domination and for their development of global ambitions through Indo-Pacific region. Yesterday, I was a bit puzzled and also a bit surprised to hear a comment from one of the experts to say that China cannot attack India. And not only said that, he repeated it 4 times to emphasize. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to caution you. 6th August 1961, on the floor of the Parliament, then Raksha Mantri Krishna Menon had also assured the Indian Parliament, Indian nation, that Marshal Cheney has assured him that China will not attack India under any circumstances. And 14 months later, India was stunned and shocked. Ladies and gentlemen, we have given Chanakya to the world, who told in no other terms that in international relations there are no permanent friends and permanent foes. There are only permanent national interests. And today, China may be your trading partner, your friend. But the development of its military and economic capability, we have to watch, because these capabilities can force or can influence a country to change their intentions overnight. We have been beaten once 52 years back. Let's not our memories be short and believe that China cannot attack us. Prudence demands that we work towards economic and political cooperation with them in settling our disputes and live in peace. But prudence also demands, and the safety and security of 120 and 1.2 billion Indians also demand, that we keep our powder dry and take their words at their face value. Never be caught unaware again. Indian Ocean, mother of maritime civilization, is a major area of influence which links 7 seas, and we are a major power in the Indian Ocean region. Whosoever controls Indian Ocean will influence the events across 7 seas in the 21st century, said Alfred Thayer Mahan. And that those golden words hold good even today. We cannot play a rightful role in Indian Ocean unless we evolve and consolidate and sustain a comprehensive coastal security policy and maritime security and apparatus to support that. This seminar in the last 36 hours has focused on issues relating to this consolidation. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Jai Hind.